a lot of great information today. Before we actually get started, I always like to cover what I call the 3 gets so you can get the most out of the session. Number 1, get pen, paper, and a drink. That way you have all the tools you need to get the most out of the session. Number 2, get rid of anything that might distract you. So turn your ringers off, close your door, that type of thing, so that way you're focused and ready to learn. And number 3, get in that state of learning. Because, hey, this could change your life. This could show you what you need to know to make money in the stock market. So, sit up straight, pay attention, get rid of those distractions. So I think you made a great decision to be here today. What we're going to do today is we're actually going to be looking at 3 techniques to help you capture the trades of a lifetime, as the title said. And the way that we're going to do that is by finding the best technical crossovers and doing so actually within seconds. And you can see how to do that. So you'll be getting information that you can walk away from today, take from today, and actually start implementing right away. I think the market's going to be closed by the time we're done. So you can implement it tomorrow. How's that? All right, so quick permission thing about me. Let me ask your permission. Raleigh said, I used to be a 3rd grade teacher, so sometimes I do have some corny jokes. So forgive that. Hopefully you're okay with that. And number 2, I always give everything I possibly can during the session, and all I ask is that if you just follow along, pay full attention, and like I said, at the end, I'm going to show you a system where you can put everything that you learned today and start implementing it starting tomorrow. So if you're okay with that, just in the chat box say, hey, I'm ready to go, sounds good. I'm okay with you being a 3rd grade teacher with some corny jokes, and I'm ready to go. And like I said, hey, pay full attention. I like to make it a conversation, so use the chat box, type back to me, let me know that I'm not just talking to dead people. I see a note, bring on the joke. All right, so as Raleigh said, I've been working at VectorVest for 13 years. And actually, my first several years here at VectorVest, I would talk to people just like you guys on the phone. And the most common question I would get asked is, hey, can you guys search for stocks that are having a technical crossover? Right, because they would be technical traders. We had some really cool looking charts at the time, and we still do. But they would say, hey, can I search for these stocks that are having these crossover patterns? And my answer for a long time was, no, man, we can't do it. It's not quite in there, but it's coming, it's coming. But now, my answer is like a resounding yes. And today you're going to see not only how you can search for them, but how VectorVest can actually do it for you and start to send you those results through alerts. So, I mean, you can be out golfing, doing whatever you want, and get these results, and you can react to those trading opportunities. You don't even need to be here. All right, so that's what we're going to look at today. It can help you make some money, so hopefully you got that piece of paper ready to go. All right, so a lot of people find this is their dream come true. You're going to see how to find the best technical crossover trades within a second. So congratulations for taking the time to view the webcast. So let's get going. The things you're going to learn today. Number 1, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the 3 of the top technical indicators. All right, you're going to see what they are and what to look for on a graph. So that's first off. Second, I'm going to show you how you can easily search for those stocks. And then within seconds, you'll be able to place some trades. All right, and then the third thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to set up VectorVest to automatically alert you of those trading opportunities. So those are the 3 main objectives and things we're going to do today. Now, prior to having those tools within VectorVest, I was like most traders out there. Right? I'd go through chart after chart. Maybe you guys are like this. Maybe this is you. I would go through these charts. I'd be sitting at my desk. I'd be going through chart after chart after chart looking for these crossover patterns, right? And I'm telling you, it must have been 20, 50, 100 a day. And, while it was profitable, I mean, it just got frustrating, right? I had work to do. I had other things to do. So I just got frustrated. I couldn't keep spending so much time doing that. So I just forgot about it for a while, put it on the back burner, and said, forget it. But about 5 years ago, VectorVest created tools which dramatically simplified that process for me. And with those tools, I was able to create a search, which actually automatically does everything I used to have to plod through manually. All right. In fact, just a little bit of proof. This is the result of those tools that I'm going to show you today. This is the result of that search that's running automatically for me. At first, it started off in an employee portfolio that was set up here at VectorVest, and it's continued on since then. It's up over 62% since the beginning of 2013, completely hands off. So throughout the webcast, I'm going to show you how to do what you're seeing here. All right, and if you stick to the end, I'm going to show you a way to get the settings of that search and the money management plan and everything. All right, right, so let me ask you this, and I'm going to ask you to type it in the chat box here. Which technical indicators do you use the most? And you don't have to type out the whole thing. If you want to, you can just type in number 1, number 2, 1 and 2, or 1 and 4. Or if you don't use any of the ones that are there, but you use other ones, type it in the chat box. Or if you don't use technical analysis at all, just put in a number 5. All right, so I see a couple of 5s right out of the gate, 4 and 2, so that's stochastics, support resistance. 2, 5, 1, and 4. Okay, that's interesting that I've see some 4s in here. Usually that's kind of the lowest one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 3, 2, and 3. Okay, so now I'm starting to see a lot more 2s coming in and 1s. Okay, good. This is actually a very diverse room here. You got a lot of diversity in here. Typically what I see is like number 1 and number 3 get the highest votes. Number 2 is up there, and then number 4 kind of lags. And it looks like number 4 kind of lags here in this poll here. And that makes sense. Number 1 is typically by far the biggest, but it looks like in this room we got 1, 2, and a little bit of 3 in there. So I mean that's perfect. We're gonna spend our time looking at number 1, number 2, and actually number 4, because that's actually the one that I found to be pretty cool. So we're gonna look at those 3 today, right? And we're gonna get started by looking at number 1. Okay, Chuck says all 4 of them. Plus he uses RSI. Yeah, I actually used RSI for a while. But I kind of narrowed it down to stochastics and a different type of moving average, which isn't on the screen here. So let's get right into it. Let's take a look at MACD. Like I said, first off, we're going to take a look at how to use these indicators. So this is perhaps one of the most popular technical indicators. And for those of you who are a little bit new to this, MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence. Right? This is a great indicator because it helps you pinpoint some meaningful changes in the stock's price direction. Okay. Now, one thing I don't like to do, you guys know I used to be a teacher of little kids. I don't want to get bogged down in the formulas. Okay. So if you want to learn the mathematical formula, just Google it. Right. I'm not here to just go through math formulas. What's important is that we know how to use it and how to profit from it. So let's go through an example. All right, so what I've done is I've taken a stock Johnson & Johnson, and even though I'm using Johnson & Johnson as the example today, what we're going to look at here, I actually challenge you to just do the same thing with any stock, and you're going to see similar things with almost every chart that you pull up. I just happen to be using Johnson & Johnson as the example. So here's a graph. And what I've done, and this is what a graph of VectorVest looks like. Down at the bottom, I added MACD. It's down here at the bottom. The most common use is to look for times when the MACD histogram, which is basically yellow bars, right? MACD histogram, when it crosses above or below this 0 line. Basically this line. When that happens, that's a great indication that there's a change, a change in the stock's trend. And you can actually see several examples on this chart. And what I'd like you to do, and what we're going to do here, is just go through chart after chart. And we're going to use this one stock as our example. And just ask yourself, say, hey, did I have a chance to make money when a MACD crossed over? All right, and that's going to kind of build your confidence that this is a pretty good indicator. All right, so first off, I just got this one highlighted here. MACD crossed over here. I ask you this in the chat box. Did you have a chance to make money after that crossover? Was there a chance? I think so. Just want to make sure you guys are awake. All right. You had a crossover here. Did you have a chance to make money? Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's take a look at the other ones. Back here, did you have a chance to make money? Yeah, maybe, right? You had to be quick, right? So it popped a little bit, and then it kind of flattened out, and then it crossed to the downside. So maybe, right? Maybe you walked away break even. If we go back to this one, yeah, slight profit there. And back here to this crossover, definitely, right? And how about this one back here? Another definite. Back over to this one. Yes, right? Now this one probably you walked away break even, right? Because there's a quick pop, maybe not enough to hit a profit target, and then it kind of flattened out, right? And then this one back here, definitely. All right. So as you can see, these positive MACD crossovers, more times than not, they will give you great buying opportunities. So it's not going to work every time, but these positive MACD crossovers are a great indication that's a good time to be buying. There's a chance to be making money. Now, if you flip it over, what about the negative crossovers? You know, when this MACD histogram goes negative. Well, let's go here. If you use this crossover to the downside as a chance to protect profits, would it have helped you do that? Let's say you got in somewhere back here, or even if you got in on the MACD crossover that happened here, would it have helped you save your bacon from this collapse? I don't know if I can call this a collapse, but this drop. Yeah, I think so. And yeah, thanks, June. What about over here? Yeah, definitely, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not all going to be as perfect as this. I mean, this is what, 2 or 3 days off the peak. They're not always going to be as beautiful as that. But these MACD crossovers to the downside, you can, number one, become defensive. So if you've been in this position a while, you can use it to say, hey, maybe I should buy some puts if you're an option trader. You can tighten stops, or maybe you could just exit the position. All right. So MACD crossovers not only are great entry signals, you can use the negative crossovers as a way to exit your trades. Okay. So that's MACD, kind of an introduction to MACD. So let's take a look at the next one. This is support and resistance. I saw a bunch of you guys in the chat. You were mentioning support and resistance that you use this one. Obviously, it's a very popular trading technique. Right? And one of the great things about VectorVest, that's why I like working here, which I really haven't seen. I haven't seen anywhere else. Maybe it's out there, but I haven't seen it. It's a way here at VectorVest that we actually automatically draw the lines for you. So we figure out where they should be, and we just plot them for you. Okay. So let's take a look at how to use this stuff. Okay, so let's go to an example. Here I got Procter & Gamble. Okay, so before we get too deep, let's again talk about what support and resistance is. All right, so basically, here's an example of a support level. This is a support line. And think of, and again, some of you in this room may not be a technical trader, so let's talk about what these things are. A support level is basically a point where stock prices have stopped going down and they began to go back up, and typically on multiple occasions. Okay? It kind of creates like a floor. I always think of it like a pogo stick. I think a lot of us are old enough to remember those. Like doing, goes down, back up. Basically creates a floor. So that's a support level. Up here would be a resistance, right? And resistance is just a point where stock prices have stopped going up and began to come back down, again, typically multiple times. Right? So support and resistance is really the ultimate crowd mentality indicator. Just think about this. Mark, the time frame on this chart is 1 year. Okay. What we're looking at here is, when I say it's the ultimate crowd mentality indicator, let me ask you this. Have you ever bought a stock and watched it go up, okay, but you didn't sell it because you thought it would continue to go up, and then you watch it come back down? All right, so I mean, look at this stock. Let's pretend like this is a stock that you bought. You know, it's kind of flat right here. And let's say it kind of broke out of this kind of channel or flat base, or you kind of see it break out. Maybe it was on high volume. And then so you get into it, right? And you watch it run up, and you're sitting there patting yourself on the back. Ooh, look at me, I'm a genius, right? And then what happens? Boom, this thing crashes, right? What do you say to yourself? What do you say to yourself? I bet you're sitting there saying to yourself, if that stock ever gets back to where it was before, I'm going to do what? What am I going to do? I'm going to sell. So then what happens? You got this stock, right? It starts to go back up, going back up, a little pullback, and then, oh, look at that. It gets right back to where it was before. All the people who did not sell back here are now putting on a bunch of selling pressure, right? All this selling pressure starts to push the stock price down, and the stock starts to retrace. You can see this multiple times. It happens again here. Okay, so this resistance, it's like a ceiling. Again, going back to the pogo stick, you bounce, doing, hit the ceiling. What happens if you hit your head on the ceiling? You're going to fall, and you typically fall until the next support level. Okay, so how do we use support and resistance in trading? Okay, so let's first start off by talking about buying opportunities. Okay, so first off, if you see price hitting a support level, remember this is an example of support line, and bouncing off, coming back up, that's bullish. Because typically price would continue to rise until at least the next resistance level. Right? So if you see price hitting support and starting to go back up, that's a buying opportunity. Notice I didn't say that it just kind of gets near support. I want to see it bouncing off of support and going back up. Number two, the other buying opportunity is when price actually breaks through resistance. Here's an example back here. See, it created a resistance level here. Then it came back up, it tested it, and it actually showed a little bit of hesitation, but then it busted through. And if you can see that, and especially if it's on high volume, that's very bullish. It was typically would continue to rise until the next resistance level. Okay, so those are two bullish signs for support and resistance. Now, second, you can use support and resistance to indicate when to sell an existing position, or at least maybe to become defensive, or maybe even to short the market. Right? So if you see price hitting resistance, just like we were talking about before, it comes up and hits resistance. Hits resistance and it starts to move back down. Just like I said before, you hit your head on the ceiling, you're typically going to fall and land on the floor. That's what stock prices do. They hit a ceiling. If they start to move back down, they'll typically continue to move down until the next support level. All right, so if you own a stock and you see it coming up to resistance, you can become defensive and say, well, maybe I'll start to tighten stops. I'm going to keep a closer eye on this. And then if you especially start to see it move back off of resistance and come down, become very defensive. You can either buy puts as insurance or just exit the position. Or if you don't own the stock, you can use it as a way to initiate a short position. All right. Now, additionally, if you see price breaking through support, if it comes down to support and it breaks down through it, it typically would fall through until the next level of support. Just like if I'm bouncing on a pogo stick and I break through the 7th floor of a building, I'm going to fall until the 6th floor. That's basically what we're going to see with stock prices. Okay? In a moment, I'm actually going to show you how you can automatically find stocks exhibiting these patterns. I see a couple of people mentioning about the voice fading in and out. I was trying to hold the mic like right up to my mouth to see if it helped, and I see Mark says, yeah, that's better. So I'm going to just try to push it in towards my mouth a little bit. All right, so the only other thing is maybe if I put it in my mouth, I don't know if that would be louder or softer. I'll keep it outside. All right, so no, we don't want to do that. All right, so that's support and resistance. Let's look at one more, which is stochastics. Yeah, nobody wants that. All right, so let's talk about stochastics. This is the last one we'll look at out of the three, and it is an oscillator. And as with other oscillators, it does help pinpoint overbought and oversold conditions. Okay, and don't let all these squiggly lines freak you out if you've never used stochastics. It's not confusing, so let's take a look. All right, so I got Merck. So I'm trying to use examples of stocks that a lot of people know or have traded before. So here's Merck, and what I've plotted on this one is stochastics down at the very bottom of the chart. All right, now at the lower end, I'm going to put a little pink line, and this pink line is at the level of 20. All right, so that's kind of like a magical level for stochastics. All right, the level of 20. I want you to notice something. I'm going to see if I can get a little drawing tool out here. I want you to notice when the stochastics was down below 20. Let's look up at the stock's price and just ask ourselves, was it somewhere near a bottom? right, we're just going to say, was it somewhere near a bottom? Okay, so here. And then we look up here. I'm not saying was it at the bottom. Was it near a bottom? So here, was it near a bottom somewhere? Was it approaching some sort of a bottom there? Was it near a bottom somewhere? Oops, that was a bad circle. How about here? Was it near a bottom? And this one, based on when I took the screenshot for the graph, we don't know yet, right? So all we're trying to get at here is when stochastics is below 20, you know there's some sort of bottom nearby. So a buying opportunity is going to occur when stochastics moves up from below 20 to above 20. Okay, but you can typically see a quick pop when that happens, like a rubber band stretching out and it snaps back. Okay. I hope you didn't write down in your notepad that Brian said to buy a stock if stochastics is below 20. That's not what I said. Position. All right. If I see stochastics is above 80, I basically just hold off and wait. And if it comes back down below 20, then it's okay to buy. And when it starts to rise back up above 20. All right. So those were three technical indicators: MACD, support and resistance, and stochastics. All right. So let me ask you a question, just based on what we've looked at. Right? Just by knowing that information, can that information help you in your trading? Right, so now when you pull up a chart and you see one of those things that we talked about, can that help you with your trades? Right, so I see June with Y, Dennis, yes. Rajwant, yes. Yeah. All right, so now this next question might be a little rhetorical. That might be a little bit rhetorical. If I gave you a choice, would you rather do things the hard way or the easy way? We could do things the hard way. Would you rather do this where you look through hundreds of graphs, graph after graph after graph, finding those candidates, or would you rather go easy? Thank you. Thank you, Jose, Orville, June, Greg. Easy way, right? All right, so let's choose easy. Most technical traders spend most of their day analyzing sometimes hundreds of graphs, right? What VectorVest has done is dramatically simplified this process. All right, what we've done is we created a search tool which does all the work for us. So let's now get right into VectorVest and see how to do it. Okay, so let me switch this here. There we go, popped right into VectorVest. So here we are in VectorVest, and the part of VectorVest that we're looking at is what we call the Unisearch tool. And this is our searching tool to find stocks. So over on the left-hand side, we have a group called Pro Trader, right? Pro Trader searches. Right? This is where we hold all of our technical searches. Right? And you can even modify them if you want, but we got some pre-built ones. So I'm going to open that up. Let me just expand this out just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. So you can see in here we've got some of the technical searches we looked at today, as well as a bunch of other ones. Like we've got DPO, detrended price oscillator, exponential moving average, weighting moving average crossovers. If I scroll down, ADX, MACD, support and resistance. Somebody mentioned earlier RSI. We've got that in here as well. This isn't all of the ones that you can create. There's I believe over 11 different types of crossovers that you can either create or start to combine. Like here's MACD and RSI together. Okay, so let's focus on the ones that we looked at today. Okay, so here, let me find it. There it is, MACD crossover long. Okay, this is a pre-built search for MACD crossovers. Okay, so if you're bullish, you would run this MACD crossover long search. You can see it's got a little green arrow, so it tells you it's a bullish search. Right? So when I clicked on that search, look over here to the criteria. Okay, this is the type of search you would run if you're bullish, and by running this search, we track over 8,000 stocks. So what this search is doing, if you look at the criteria, it's going to say, all right, I only want to find stocks that are over $1, that trade over 100,000 shares, which of course you can change if you want. You can make that 1 million or 500,000 or whatever. All right, but this is the key part. This is one of the two key parts of this search. The stocks that get returned from this search just had a MACD crossover. All right, so if you're looking at this in real time, and at my clock it says 3:43 in the afternoon Eastern time, right here 3:43. So if I were to run this search, it's going to find stocks that as of 3:43, these are the stocks that that had a MACD crossover today. Okay, but that's not the only thing this is doing. Right? That's not the only thing. VectorVest gives you an additional advantage over other places because what this is also going to do is out of all of the stocks that had a MACD crossover, and there could be a bunch, right? Out of 8,000, there could be a bunch. The best combination, let me say this, the stocks with the best combination of value, safety, and timing are at the top because we have a proprietary indicator here called VST. So not only are you getting, let me just say this, you're getting two benefits here. By running this search today, and I'm actually just going to turn off the stream because sometimes these little flashes and blips and blops of the real-time data get distracting. So let me turn the stream off and run it. You're getting two benefits here. Number one, boom, right? You've got a huge time saver. How many graphs did we have to look at? None, right? But we found all of these stocks that had a MACD crossover. Number two, they're sorted. So the stocks with the best combination of value, safety, and timing are at the top. Right? Now, while you can run these searches on any given day, any time of the day, one of the biggest benefits of VectorVest is that you also know exactly when to run these searches. Right? Because we have market timing signals. Right? And to save a little bit of time, I've actually preloaded them. I'm going to go over to our Graphs tab. And here on the Graphs tab, I've loaded what we call our market timing graph, and I've put on market timing signals. So every time you see a little green arrow, it represents a market timing signal which uses technical studies. Right? So here's some green arrows, and every time you see a red arrow, it means that we had a down signal on the market. So overall, you can see that these green arrows did a really nice job of keeping you in the market during this upturn and getting you out when the market was turning around. But let me ask you this. Yeah, this upturn was beautiful, right? Over the past, what is this, March, April, 3 or 4 months, what's the market been like? How has it been up, down, flat, basically since March? How would you characterize the market? What's the market been like? Up, down, flat, Rock says choppy. That's a good way to describe it. We had some ups and downs, right? Sideways, a couple people said sideways. Yeah. So we had what? I asked some people last month. We were in this annoying little downtrend, right? And then until recently, we had this pop, right? Yeah, so I'm starting to see some more in there, some consolidation. Up till recently, until the past couple of days, choppy and sideways. All right. So let's see if we can combine these market timing signals with a technical analysis search, that crossover search, and let's see how well we can do. Okay, so what we're going to do, think of it this way, we're going to marry stock selection with market timing, because theoretically, that should improve results. So let's put it to the test here. So we're going to do some historic testing. So this first signal back here is what? All right, so this one came on July 8th, and it went until August 16th. So July 8th to August 16th. That was our first signal. So let's go back to this search tool. Pardon me. And let's change this date. And by the way, VectorVest does give you the ability to go back in time. So I'm actually going to go back. How about this? There's a feature here called Quick Dates. This is going to really save me some time. It lists all the dates for me. All right, so I'm going to go back to July. That was the first date on the chart, July 8th, and OK, and run it. All right, so these were the top stocks that had a MACD crossover on the day of that signal. Okay, so let's do this. There's a feature in VectorVest called a quick test. All right, so this quick test, And this quick test button is a way to just test to see how they did. So I'm going to hit quick test. And I need to change our end date. So I'm going to test it from July 8th. And I'm going to go to August 16th. Let's run that test. All right, now actually, I don't want to, this is actually pretty good. Let's do, that was 10 stocks, 4.2%. Not bad, right? Had a couple that went against us. Maybe you don't trade 10 stocks, right? How about, oops, 11, back into VectorVest. How about we just do 5 stocks? You guys more comfortable with 5? And hey, you can cherry pick if you want to, but let's just do 5. That way you don't have to feel like you have to buy 10 stocks all at once. So here's 5. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It actually now lost 3%. So now you're sitting there thinking, oh man, should I scrap this whole system? Well, I don't know. What we want to do is let's test it out a little bit more. Right, so let's just do the next one. Right, so the next one was, the next up signal was September 9th to December 11th. All right, so September 9th. Run it. Let's quick test the top 5. Oh, Greg says, how am I picking the top 5? What this is doing is it's just, you should see them match up. NUS, VITA, VIPS, IGTE, WAB. So this quick test button, when I tell it to do the top 5, it's just going to take the top 5 from the search. So these are the top 5 stocks that had a MACD crossover. And remember, they were sorted by that VST, or the value safety timing. All right, so I need to change our end date. No, 97% would have been nice, but we didn't hold them all the way till now. We got it. We can't cheat. It would have been nice if we had just let it go. December 11th. Let's run that test. All right, it's not 97%. We made 44%. All right, so now you got those two things. The first time you did it, you're down 3%. If you stuck with this system, now you're up 44%. Much better, right? Now, I could keep quick testing, which you guys might fall asleep if I quick tested much longer. But why don't I do this? Let me give you a recommended stop criteria. Because you can't just buy stocks and hold them, right? Well, I guess you could. It's not really recommended because you want to have an exit plan. Right, so let me give you kind of like a little trading plan. And the way that we could do that with MACD, right? The way that we can do that, I'm actually going to use this little thing called backtester. And I know I'm going to click a little bit fast because you don't really need to know the click by clicks. Not a tutorial on how to use the backtester. So we're going to build a trading system. And we're going to use our DEW. This is those market timing signals, those green and red arrows. So automation rules up. So every time we get a green arrow, we're going to go and have VectorVest automatically run MACD crossover long. And we're going to tell it to sell a stock if we gain 20%. So this is like it's a back test, it's called. So it's going to mimic real life trading. So it's going to go back in time, run the search, sell a stock if it gained 20%. But we're also going to have a little safety blanket that if we lose 10%, we're going to get out. We're only going to do 5 positions. Then when we get a red arrow, that down signal, we're just going to go to cash. So let's be fair and let's test it from the same date, July 8th. Let's just go all the way to now. Let's see how it did. Let's run it. Pull this up here. So just think about what this is doing. It's on a green arrow, it bought 5 stocks and it managed those 5 stocks. It would sell one if it gained 20% or if it lost 10%, and then it would just replace it with another MACD crossover. And you see this flat line here? That means it was sitting in cash just waiting for the next up signal. So this could be just like you. When VectorVest gives an up signal, you run the search and you buy 5 stocks and you just manage them just like you would a normal portfolio and replace stocks with other MACD crossovers. And then every time it gives a down signal, you just go into cash and wait. And then now we're just waiting until this is finished here. So far, we're up 45%. Drawdown of only 10%. Not so bad. So bad. And remember, all the flat lines are basically sitting in cash. And look at that nice little pop. So what do you have? An up signal back on May 22nd. We had a nice little pop from 140K up to 150. Oh. All right. So first thing, does that so far make sense, or do you like that equity curve of a portfolio, just trading a mechanical system based on MACD crossovers? Simple trading plan. Sell stocks on a 20% gain or 10% loss. But look at this. Remember since March, the market had that downturn and then it kind of rebounded a little bit? This one held its own, right? It held its own very nicely. Now you're making money again. So over this 1 year period, or yeah, just about a year, 55% annualized, only 12% drawdown. Very systematic approach to it. And that's when you're marrying market timing with stock selection. Okay? And remember, all you're doing is running the search when VectorVest gives that up signal and managing those stocks. Okay? I want check this out. If you kind of walked away for a second, I want you to check this next part out. There's a feature in VectorVest where it's completely hands-off for you. Because this system here that we were just looking at, you still had to run the search and come in and check your stocks. Watch this. You could take this and say, I like that plan. And hit this button here that says convert. And what I'm going to do is just hit OK. This is now going to create a portfolio of my trading plan. And what it's going to do, since we are currently in an up situation, it went out, it ran the search, found the stocks, and it put them in this portfolio, and it sent you an email saying, these are the stocks to buy. This is the number of shares to buy. And now guess what? You can smash your computer to pieces, and you could go play golf. And if one of these 5 stocks meets a stop criteria, you're going to get an email saying, hey, guess what? Guess what? SM just met its stop criteria. You should sell it. Oh, and by the way, you should buy XYZ as its replacement, and this is the number of shares. Okay, so it completely hands off. You get the alerts in an email. You don't even need to be near your computer. All right. I promised I'd show you stochastics and some of the things that I do with that. Let's look at that search. All right. So that's a little bit about MACD, or a lot about MACD. Let's go to Unisearch. There's this search down here called stochastics, and we also combined it with EMA, or exponential moving average crossover. All right. Now remember, with stochastics, what did we want? We wanted to find stocks that were coming up. The stochastics was coming up from below 20 to above it. That's exactly what this search is doing. In fact, look at what this search is doing. It's finding stocks whose stochastics crossed above 20 in the past 2 days. It's also finding stocks that had the price, and that's what a 1-day moving average is. Price went above the 10-day exponential, above the 20-day, and above the 30-day, all within the past 2 days. And imagine having to do that on your own, going through graph after graph. But this is doing it automatically for you. All right, to save us a little bit of time, I want to illustrate a point, because this is how I built this into that trading plan that I showed you earlier. So I want to save time and show you a trading technique that has been running for about 1.5 years, actually more than that for me in that portfolio. So to illustrate this point, I'm going to go back to that same date. I'm going to go back to July 8th. Right, so if I run this search, these are the stocks that met the criteria. Stochastics was coming up above 20, and price was crossing the exponential moving average. Right there for me, right? We're going to live through owning these stocks day after day. Okay? Remember, when the stocks are oversold and stochastics pops back up above 20, it's like a rubber band. All right, so you're looking for a quick gain. You're not necessarily buying and holding these stocks. Right? For example, let me just do this. If I quick test and illustrate the point better, I'm just going to do 10 because that's what I've been doing in that portfolio, 10 positions. Let me illustrate 10 and go back to, what was it, August 16th, I believe it was. Here we go. That was the down signal. If you just did a buy and hold with those 10, granted, 8 of them went up. Pretty good odds. But 2 of them went against you quite a bit, RTEC and UAM, and you only made less than 1%. Okay? So you might look at that and be like, why is Brian showing me this horrible performance and wanting me to trade this? Well, let me show you how to do it and basically what's been going on in that portfolio I showed you. We're going to live through this day by day. Okay, so you got into these stocks on July 8th. So let's say you bought these stocks, they were oversold and you're hoping for a quick pop, and let's use 8% as our goal, an 8% gain. All right, so let's change this. So I'm going to go to July 9th. So we come home from work, we check our portfolio, and we see at the end of July 9th, let's see, no stocks had an 8% gain. All right, moving on, right? Let's go to the 10th. You come home from work, you check your portfolio, and 9 of them went up, but none of them hit your 8% gain. We're getting close, though. Here's the 11th. All right, well, all of them are making you money now. That's good. No 8% gains yet. All right, so we go to work again. We come home on Friday, the 12th, and we made 3%, but our portfolio, none of them are up 8%. So we have a good weekend with our family. We relax, go to work on Monday. We come home. Let's see our portfolio. All right, boom, look at that. RTEC, right? That hit its 8% gain, sold, right? So we have one stock that's now a profit. And remember, that was one of our big losers before. All right, so we go to work again here on the 16th. Come back. No other ones met 8% gain. How about the 17th? Any 8%ers? Nope, one's getting close. The 18th. And I think we hit a couple other ones. There we go. So we got UAM and now also IACI. So now we've got 3 stocks that hit 8%. They're out, right? So if you actually kept repeating that process all the way until that August 16th date, you would have actually sold 8 of the 10 stocks for an 8% gain, for an overall gain in the portfolio of 7%. And that's the technique that I've been using successfully for about 2 years. All right? Make sense so far? All right. And remember, RTEC and UAM, they were the 2 biggest losers when we did it before. And by taking profits, when we got that 8%, we turned that portfolio around. All right. Let me show you something. I'm actually logged into my account here. Let me show you something here. Go to the portfolios. There it is. This is the portfolio I was showing you before, up 61.5%. All right. Let me just show you something now. Trade history. Maximize it. You guys can see all that. And so June 4th, that was about a week ago, right? So we got winner, 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 winner. So $1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, loser, winner, flat, loser, winner, 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 winner. I'll show you later, but I believe this was over 80 winning trades since the beginning of 2013 with only 10 losing trades following that type of a system. So let me close out of that. And that's why I'm pretty excited about that one. All right. So you can get some, and some of those trades were in just a couple of days. Because remember, quick pops, quick pops. All right. Let me show you one last thing, because I know there's a lot of short-term traders in here. I don't know if you noticed it before. I got an alert down here in the bottom corner. Down here in the bottom corner. That's because I have a watchdog set up. Right? See here, I've got this watchdog set up. And what a watchdog does is this watchdog, it's like a, think of it like a watchdog. It is scanning the market for me for stocks that are having MACD crossovers. And I have my watchdog trained to just look at high market cap stocks. I don't want to deal with stocks that don't trade a lot. So if a stock had a MACD crossover to the upside, I get an alert, or to the downside, I get an alert. All right, and here you can see we had a down day today. So at 3:39, I got that alert. At 2:57, I got that alert, and so on. So again, you don't even have to be near the computer. I get these alerts through email, and then I can react to them. I think I've got an example really quick to show. Where is it? There it is. This is just what it would be like using the watchdog. So on September 12th, you can see, actually it happened on the 11th, but on September 11th, you can see that here. This is what an emailed watchdog alert would look like, saying, hey, DISCA met the criteria of your watchdog. That was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I think I was in a meeting or something, so I couldn't react until the next morning, which was the 12th, when here the MACD still was moving up. So on September 12th, I reacted, bought shares of DISCA. You can obviously see it had a run, made 8% in 15 days, and closed out on September 27th, all because of the watchdog alert. Basically, with this watchdog, I just sit at my desk and do my work. I'm doing my email, I'm doing my work, getting ready, and then a little watchdog alert will pop up, and then I can choose to react to it or not. So it's really cool stuff with this watchdog. All right. Let me move this over. So basically, at this point, you showed up today, probably for a few reasons. Right? Number one, you wanted to learn how to effectively use popular technical indicators in your trading. Number two, you wanted to see how you could easily search for stocks meeting those technical patterns. And you wanted to see how VectorVest can alert you of those possible trades. And we saw how we could do that using the watchdog just now, and also how you could do that using the auto timer when we built our trading plan with MACD earlier. In addition, there's a couple other things I hope you learned. I hope you also saw how you can use our market timing signals, to tell you when to place those trades. And that'll really enhance your performance. And I also hope you saw the time VectorVest will save you and how important speed is to your performance. Because if you're able to react faster than all those other technical traders, you're getting in before the herd. Okay? So, I mean, at this point, the obvious question, the obvious place you're at right now is, how do I get those tools up and running myself? All right? I promised I'd give you everything I possibly could during this past hour, and at the end, I'd show you how to build a system and get that information for yourself. But before I get to that, I need to point something out. It's very important you understand this. Albert Einstein said everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. All right? It's important that you understand it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. I mean, if you're here watching this and you think I've got some magic pill for you where you can go to bed fat and wake up skinny, I mean, that doesn't exist, right? If you think this is some get-rich-quick scheme and you're going to become a millionaire tomorrow, you might as well just go to the bathroom or something and wait for the next presenter. It's not for you. Right? This is serious. All right? It's for serious people who take their trading seriously, who are willing to put the time in to learn the system. But if that's you, it's perfect. That's why VectorVest created this. It's created for people just like you. We put it together for serious traders who want a simple way to find their trades. And we've broken it down into 4 components: a market timing component, charting, pro trader searches, and the alerts and automation component. Let me tell you what you get. First off, it's all about knowing when to place your trades. So you're going to get the market timing gauge and what we call the color guard. And that's updated every day. So you get very clear entry points into the market. So it's going to tell you when to buy. It removes all that guesswork. You're also going to know when to exit the market. And you get those same types of signals saying, hey, you should get out of the market. Right? Some places charge like $400 to $500 for market timing. It's nowhere near as, number one, as good as VectorVest. It doesn't have the historical track record that we've got. All right? Second, you'll get the fundamental and technical charts. You'll be able to chart over 30 fundamental and over 11 technical indicators. And this includes support and resistance lines that are automatically drawn for you on the charts, which again, I haven't seen other places do. And really, these are some great looking charts. Right? And the third component is you'll receive the powerful Unisearch tool with the Pro Trader searches built in, so you can easily find what stocks to trade. We feel this is the most powerful search engine created. With its power, it is also extremely easy to use. You saw how I just clicked on a search and ran it. And within seconds, you're able to find those stocks that meet your desired technical charting patterns. All right? Plus, you get the Watchdog tool. You're going to receive that Watchdog tool, which is that advanced alerting system that monitors the entire market for you and identifies stocks meeting specific MACD or support and resistance criteria so you don't miss a trade. In addition, you get what we call the Portfolio Genius. That's where you can build that portfolio. It's hands-off portfolio management because it identifies your stocks that meet your stop criteria and finds a replacement. And if you add into that the auto timer, this is that tool where you can build an entire trading system and have it say, all right, VectorVest gave an up signal. I showed this with the MACD portfolio where you can, it's completely hands-off trading system. All right, folks, this is all about having the tools that you need to make the best trades at the best time and to drastically reduce the amount of time you spend analyzing your trades. So you get the market timing gauge and the color guard, the fundamental and technical charting, automatic support and resistance levels drawn for you on the charts, pro trader searches, the watchdog, automated portfolio manager with the alerts, plus real-time data. Now, if you want to buy all that on its own, I mean, you could call us. We'll sell it to you for $137 a month. I mean, we've been charging that since 2000, 5-6 years now. Even though it's worth a lot more than that, we sell for $137 a month. Now, in addition for being here today, we have a few bonuses for you. First bonus, we'll give you a one-on-one consultation session. I saw a few chats in the chat box here about additional support. One of our consultants will work with you one-on-one to get you started. We'll guide you through the installation. We'll help you analyze your existing portfolio. We'll introduce you to what we call Surefire Success Trading Systems. This consultation session is valued at $95. All right, so that's bonus number one. Bonus number two, we're going to put you in our group coaching program. You'll have 10 weeks in the group coaching program. All right? We don't want to just give you this content, walk away, and say good luck. We want to help you apply that content. So we'd love to work with you in this group coaching program. It's for real-time subscribers only. All right, so basically 10 weeks, in this group coaching program. Basically what we do is every other Wednesday, we get together on a webcast. And it's more where I give you tips and techniques on how to use the system. We update and discuss our market timing information, give guidance. If you need any help with any part of the system, I'll help you out. These 10 weeks are valued at $475, but they're included today. All right? It's all, like I said, it's all about having the tools you need to have a trading plan you trust, making the best trades at the best time, and you're reducing the amount of time you spend. So in summary, you're going to get 10 weeks of VectorVest 7 real time, which is valued at $342.50. Since normally it's $137 a month, it's basically 10 weeks of VectorVest real time. One-on-one consultation, the 10 weeks in the coaching program, total value is over $900. And we're prepared to give it all to you today at a no-brainer cost of $29 for a full 10 weeks. All right, this is a webcast special only. You have to go to vectorvest.com/betterprofits, and I see we put that link into the chat box for you. This is really no-brainer, $29 for 10 weeks. Now, folks, this is also completely guaranteed. All right, you probably won't need this, but if for some reason you don't like it during your first 30 days, we'll give you your full $29 back. Right? I mean, it gives you that peace of mind. I mean, we're very confident you're going to love what you get, but you're not locked into any contracts with us. In addition, if you order in the next 60 minutes, now this is only for the next 60 minutes. Let me actually update this. You order, this is actually the trading plan that I was telling you, better excuse me, there we go. If you order in the next 60 minutes, you're going to get the complete, switching this around, trading plan that I talked about. All right, this gives you all the settings of the search, the complete trading plan with the stop criteria, step-by-step directions on how to set it up with the automation. Like I said, 84 winning trades and 10 losing trades since 2013. And you just got to go to vectorvest.com/betterprofits. And folks, I got a note from Barry. Right? Barry said, hey, Brian, I took you up on your offer of going to real time with VectorVest. In the last couple of weeks, I've used a variation of your stochastics and EMA crossover technique with great success already. He says, thank you very much. All right. Just a reminder, 84 winning trades. But you've got to order in the next 60 minutes to get that PDF. All right, so you just got to go to vectorvest.com/betterprofits. You'll get that PDF if you place that order. It's only $29. I can't think of any other no-brainer offer out there. 10 weeks of real-time data for 29 bucks. All right. So in summary, you're going to get pre-built searches to easily find stocks meeting your technical charting patterns. All right. You're also going to receive alerts of possible trades using the watchdog. Folks, this is going to save you enormous amounts of time. Right? Stop spending hours of your life analyzing chart after chart. It saves you enormous amounts of time. And there's a saying that has stuck with me, and that's wealthy people spend money to save time. Poor people spend time to save money. That's one of the big benefits of this. It puts all the tools that you need in one place to save you a lot of time. Plus, we guarantee it. Right? Now, you do have 24 hours to decide if it's for you, but if you order in the next 60 minutes, you get that PDF of the trading plan. Now, this is designed to make you a faster, smarter, and better trader. Again, in order to get it, you got to go to vectorvest.com/betterprofits. We put that link to the chat box for you. Hey, we'd love to see you with us. We look forward to working with you. And depending on how much time I've got, I will stick around and answer questions that might come in. But here's my little thank you page. I want to thank you all for being here today and spending some time with me. I'm just going to close out of this screen. If you've got any questions that have come in. It looks like Yana put the link into the chat box. And my good friend Angel has been in here answering questions in the chat, so there might not be any new questions that have come in. Angel, it looks like Daryl's calling you my sidekick. I don't know. I wouldn't say that to Angel's face, though. David says, is the program web-based? It is not. It actually installs on your computer. It's actually just a small install. It is a PC product. All right, so it is. We do have a web-based version, right? But it's not as super. Doesn't have all the functionality as the full standalone version. And we do have an iPad, iPhone app. Again, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of the full product. Hope I pronounced this right. Asim. The price after the 10 weeks would go back to the 137. Now I will say this: we do, that is for the real-time product. We want to give you 10 weeks of our best out there product. If after those 10 weeks you like VectorVest, but you want to move to like an intraday or an end-of-day service, you can do that. Intraday would be $89 per month. End of day is $59. But just keep in mind, the real-time product is the one that comes with the Pro Trader, the Watchdog, and the Auto Timer. That's the biggest and the best that we've got. All right. Daryl, you're welcome. We got that one. Shirley, can this be used as a source for stocks to trade for options? Definitely, Shirley. Yes, that's actually one of the biggest ways I use it. You know how we were looking at MACD crossovers? You don't have to just buy shares, right? You can do option trades on them. You could do just buying calls. You could do bull put spreads, things like that. Yeah, definitely you could use it for options. I don't have time today to get into all the different ways, but yes, I mean, the key thing is if you have market direction on your side and you have a tool to help you find the stocks, there you go. Pierre says, earlier in the graph, we saw the total commission paid. Can we enter the information setting in VectorVest to show transpose commission from my broker? Yeah, and let me see if I can get VectorVest back up here. I think you were talking about in a portfolio. So in a portfolio, when you set it up, you could create I'm just going to call it test. You can put in your default commission. So if it's not $9.95, if it's $7, you can do that. Or if you pay a percent or per share, you can put that in there. And then even after the fact, you can go in there. Let's use this one as an example. There we go. I had some stocks in that one. Well, you can go in there after the fact and edit the transaction log. You can say, well, I didn't get in at $20.21. I got in at $20.15. Yes, Mark, VectorVest is the platform. You do still need your broker. You still have to place trades with your broker. All right, LK, that includes the ability to run back tests. Yet the base product, whether it's end of day, intraday, or real time, you do have the back tester. The benefit of doing the real time product, and that's what you get for the $29, the benefit of that is you get the auto timer module in there too, which allows you to test with these market timing signals. Is there training for options too? Not today. We ran out of time today, Shirley. We could go on and on, but we do have some free training on options. Angel mentioned it. I saw it in the strategy in the chat earlier. We have what's called Strategy of the Week videos. We've got a bunch of those. All right. Pierre, I don't know. That is okay. Can we upgrade end of day to this offer? Yeah. If you go to the, I would say place the order on the site. So go to Better Trades, and then what they'll do, our consultants will take care of it for you, Ed. Okay. And sorry, I lost the questions. Where is it? Oh, sorry, Ed didn't answer. Can we update end of day to this offer? Yes. Enter the order on the site, and there's actually a phone number at the top of that order page. DR, I would say just give a call, just to make sure that everything gets entered and there's full clarity. Because if you're on an end of day, are you on an end of day trial or an end of day subscription? But either way, I would say call and then we can get it worked out. And it looks like just running out of time here, so let's see if we get to. Okay, see a quick little note from Rox. It looks like if you buy now, TradingPub will rebate the first 10 people, but you've got to email support at tradingpub.com a copy of the receipt that you get. Okay. Can we get into VectorVest from more than one computer? Yes, Ed, you can. Just log into each one. Of course, it's only going to let you log into one at a time. Pierre, good. Practical to keep your profits net from okay, that looks like it's the Angel. And it looks like we'll do a couple other ones here. The hefty introductory price. First up, yeah, $20 is hefty. I guess, yeah, Richard, if you place the order using the site, and I actually should have put that back up on the screen. If you go and place the order on the site, vectorvest.com/betterprofits, once you place the order, it'll actually give you a link to download that PDF. Okay. And I think some people are asking about rebating what? I think they're talking about, it looks like TradingPub is going to, if you pay us the $29 and you send them the receipt, the first 10 people that send TradingPub the receipt of the $29, they'll send you back $29. You still pay us, I guess,